Today's verse that we'll be discussing is from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 16th chapter, the last verse. Brahmaji is talking about Yogamaya in this verse. He says, Vishvasya yasthitilayodbhava heturadhyo yogeshwarerapi duratyaya yogamayah क्षेमं विधास्यति सनो भगवांस्त्रयधीशस् क्षेमं विधास्यति सनो भगवांस्त्रयधीशस् तत्रास्मदीय विमृशेन कियानिहार्तः. So here it is a very confidential verse, so this video is going to be confidential. It is not supposed to be revealed to ordinary people. The subject matter is highly confidential. So here all the acharyas have hidden the meaning of this verse. Why they have hidden? Because it is not supposed to be revealed to everybody. Now the problem is that when you reveal a particular aspect of Krishna that is confidential, then hundreds and thousands of questions will be raised. Why then he does like this? What is this? How does he think? Why does he think like this? So, to answer those questions, all the aspects of Krishna's confidential nature has to be revealed. Otherwise, it will be a problem. So, what the acharyas and all our great devotees are doing is, they present the truth to the neophyte devotees in a very different way, so that all the questions can be easily answered in a very systematic way. And then a particular worldview is presented. But the moment one of these verses breaks the worldview, what happens is that particular line of thought or the particular entire structure that is created about the reality of this universe, that is broken at some point. And when that is broken, then a new reality is introduced. Then that reality is not in sync with all the other things that have been told. So then all the reality has to change. The entire reality about the Lord has to change if one link is broken. It's like a key, it's like a puzzle in a key, and if you change the puzzle, one single link of the puzzle, the entire puzzle has to change. Otherwise that link will become a lingering doubt in the heart of a sadhaka. That will become a problem. So this is one such verse where the moment you introduce this verse, all the reality about Krishna has to be revealed. So what does this verse say? This verse actually, the translation of this verse, let us read first what Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas are doing this. All Acharyas are in sync with this. It's not just Srila Prabhupada. Every single Acharya in our Sampradaya is also explaining it in this way only. So here is the verse, third canto, 16th chapter, last verse, 37th verse. So the translation is, my dear sons, the Lord is the controller of the three modes of nature and is responsible for creation, preservation and dissolution of the universe. This seems to be now what happens is, when you translate and when you are actually presenting it in a confidential way, many times what happens, such verses which have a different meaning, when they are presented by the acharyas in a very beautiful way, so that the normal meaning that is explained in the shastras to the neophytes, that way if it is explained, then such verses sometimes become very complicated and they become difficult to understand. Just like the Vedas and the Upanishads are very difficult to understand certain things. Because not that they are difficult, because when the real meaning is hidden and a different meaning is presented to the sadhaka, then that meaning becomes little bit difficult and to understand. What is the meaning of that? Such kind of things are difficult to understand. But when the real meaning is present, it becomes very synchronous and very easy to understand. everything becomes like the midday sun, everything becomes like, very clear. But then that meaning cannot be given because that is confidential meaning. So the other meaning becomes very difficult to understand and digest. It becomes like confusing. Ki what is being said cannot be understood. There seems to be that different. There seems to be some disconnect between the lines. Now let's see. We will find such kind of disconnect also here also. So the translation goes like this: My dear sons, the Lord is the controller of the three modes of nature and is responsible for creation, preservation and dissolution of the universe. This looks okay. The next line becomes disconnected again. The next line is: His wonderful creative power Yogamaya cannot be easily understood even by the masters of yoga. So here slightly problematic is why is Yogamaya introduced here suddenly. Third thing becomes the most ancient person, the personality of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. Here is another slight disconnect. Why would Brahmaji first say that the Lord is the controller of three modes when he already knows that actually? Already he knows that the Lord is three modes, so he will not be speaking some very basic stuff like that. He is the Lord of the control of the three modes and he will come to our rescue. Why would this be a situation? And then suddenly Yogamaya, his Yogamaya cannot be easily understood. Why would there be, it looks like a slight disconnect in between, although there is no disconnect actually, you can understand it, but seems to be a slight disconnect. Suddenly first the Lord is said to be the controller, then he says that Yogamaya is introduced. Third thing, the Lord will help us, such kind of statement is used. And what purpose, the last part of the statement is, what purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on the subject? Now, so here again, there is a suggestion that one should not deliberate on this subject. Why such things are happening? First he says something like, this is a topic relating to Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakshas, and then when they are supposed to be coming. So in this point, first it is said the Lord is a supreme controller. Second thing, his Yogamaya is difficult to understand. Third thing, he will help us. And fourth thing, what is the use for our deliberation? Kind of makes sense, no doubt, that okay, the Supreme Lord will help us, then why should we deliberate? Let him help us. Something like that. But doesn't sound very satisfying. What is Brahmaji is trying to say? Why is three modes and the Lord is the controller of the three modes, is space is given. Suddenly then Yogamaya is introduced. Suddenly he says that he will help us. And fourth thing, why should we deliberate? So should we not deliberate if he helps us? Like something is happening, should we not simply deliberate? Should we not think about it? Or if he is going to help us, then we should not think. What is the point? What is Brahmaji trying to say? It becomes little, because then we understand this is definitely confidential verse. So let us go to word translation. That will become slightly shocking for a neophytic kind of understanding that we have understood. It becomes very problematic. It says Vishwasya of the universe, Yaha Sthiti Laya Udbhava Hetur Adhya. It says Vishwasya of the universe, Vishwasya Yaha, one who is responsible, Sthiti, maintenance, Laya, destruction, Udbhava, creation, Hetu, the cause, Adhya, the most ancient person. Who is the cause, Hetu, for the creation, maintenance and destruction of this universe? The ancient person, Yogeshwarai. Yogeshwarai means, you can call Yogeshwarai means, also respectfully Yogeshwara can be known as Yogeshwarai as a respect, or multiple Yogeshwaras. In this case Adhya means the ancient one. Okay, Yogeshwarai can also be referred to this same ancient person, Yogeshwara, Krishna. But here the translation of the word to word, Prabhupada and acharyas have said Yogeshwara does not mean Krishna. Yogeshwara is not Krishna. It is masters of yoga, Yogeshwarai, because it refers to plural. So it is not Yogeshwaras. It is master of yogas, some human beings. That is where this disconnect is happening. Suddenly they have translated Yogeshwarai as masters of yoga. Api, even Duratyaya cannot easily understand Yoga Maya. So the masters of yoga cannot understand Yoga Maya. Instead of Krishna cannot understand Yoga Maya, which would be a highly controversial and problematic verse situation. Let us try to understand that. Yogeshwarai Api Duratyaya Yoga Maya. So Yogeshwaras also Api Duratyaya cannot easily understand Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya. Kshemam, good, Vidhati, will do, he, Sah, Nah, of us, Bhagavan, the personality. So the Krishna will do the good to us. Triyadhisha, the controller of the three modes of material nature. Tatra Asmadhiya, by our deliberation. Vimrishena, Kiyan, what? Artha, Iha Artha, on the subject, what is the purpose of deliberation? So now let us try to go for the secret meaning of this verse. It is saying, Vishwasya Yaha Stithi Laya Udbhava Hetu Adhya. The one who is responsible for the creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world, Adhya. Adhya is the ancient person. Now the same ancient person is also multiple persons like Krishna, Balram, Vishnu. They are all one person, Adhya. But at the same time, there are multiple people also. So they can be called as Yogeshwarai also. So this person who is responsible, or Adhya, can refer to the most ancient one. It could be a general neutral thing also. So Vishwasya, one Yaha Sthiti Laya Udbhava Hetu, the cause of creation, destruction and maintenance of this universe, the ancient one, Yogeshwarais, the ancient, Adhya Yogeshwarai. Adhya Yogeshwarai means the ancient Yogeshwaras, the ancient ones, the Yogeshwaras. Or if you want to say it is a singular, then Adhya refers to the ancient one, Krishna, and Yogeshwara also refers to that same Krishna. This Krishna, Yogeshwara, the Lord of the Yoga Maya potency, Yoge Ishwara, Yogeshwarai. So Yogeshwarai is can be referred to in some way to a very respectful. When we respectfully talk in a singular term also, we can use a plural term to a person. So this Adhya is himself Yogeshwara. So the meaning of this statement is the one ancient personality, Yogeshwara, who is responsible for creation, destruction and maintenance, the very Lord of Yoga Maya, he himself cannot understand Yoga Maya. What will we think about Yoga Maya's actions? What is the use of our deliberation? Don't worry, Krishna will help us and he will save us. Now this whole statement makes extraordinary meaning. The each and every line of the statement has a meaning. What Brahmaji is saying is, the creation, destruction, maintenance karne wala, the one who is making who is creating, destroying and maintaining the universe, the ancient Yogeshwara himself cannot understand Yoga Maya. The Lord of Yoga Maya, Yogeshwara himself, that's why the word Yogeshwara is used, Lord of Yoga Maya. So the Lord of Yoga Maya, Yogeshwara himself, who is the cause of creation, destruction and maintenance of the universe, cannot understand Yoga Maya. Now go to the next statement. Then what is the use of our trying to deliberate on this subject matter and trying to understand her actions? Why Lord's actions? Why the Yoga Maya has done all these kind of actions? How can we understand? Even the Yogeshwara himself cannot understand Yoga Maya. Then how can we understand Yoga Maya? Don't worry, the Lord will help us. That is the statement. Now it becomes very clear. Just rely on the Lord. He will help us. No need to deliberate on this, because even the Lord cannot understand the actions of Yoga Maya. What to speak of us? This becomes very clear statement now. All 3-4 statements are in sync. Initially what was happening when we went for the first meaning of this? First meaning, we said that the Lord is the cause of creation, destruction. That was a separate statement. Then next statement was the great yogis cannot understand Yoga Maya, the Lord's Yoga Maya. Now the great yogis cannot understand the Lord's Yoga Maya, but Brahma is the greater than all those great yogis. Why would he say even the great yogis cannot understand Yoga Maya? Then what is the use of our deliberation on subject? That Brahmaji won't say. Brahmaji is the greatest yogi. All the yogis are respecting him and they are under Brahmaji. 4 Kumaras, the great yogis, all of them are under Brahma. There is no other yogi who is greater than Brahma. So even the great yogis cannot understand his Yoga Maya. Then what is the use of our? That statement doesn't make sense. So the second statement is even the great yogis cannot understand Yoga Maya. The material yogis, sadhus, they cannot understand the working of Yoga Maya. They are Jivatmas. How can they understand anyways Yoga Maya? That statement itself, first statement is the Lord is the supreme controller of all the three universes. It's a disconnect. That statement has no connection. Second statement is even the great yogis cannot understand Yoga Maya. This statement in the first statement has no disconnection again. Third statement, the Lord will help us. And the fourth statement is what is the use of our deliberation? All four statements seem to be disconnected if you go for the first. But now if you go for the second meaning, the secret meaning, then all four have a meaning. How they are connected? The Lord who is creating, destroying everything, the Lord who is known as Yogeshwara himself cannot understand Yoga Maya. What will we understand Yoga Maya? Now it becomes a very powerful connection. Let us not deliberate on this subject. What is the use of a deliberating on how Yoga Maya is functioning? Even the Lord cannot understand Yoga Maya. How can we understand Yoga Maya or her functioning? Why should we deliberate on this subject matter? Let the Lord help us. He will definitely help us. Now it becomes a perfect synchronized statement. If Yogeshwara is not material yogis, but Yogeshwara refers to Lord Krishna. So now you may say Adhya is a singularity. In singular, it is said that the Supreme Lord, the creation, is Adhya, the ancient person. Yaha, the one who is responsible for creation, that person is suddenly referred to Yogeshwarai, plural. Why would Adhya be singular and Yogeshwarai be plural? Simple, as first of all, from a philosophical or logical perspective, Adhya refers to singular person. But now this plural persons, who are the plural persons? Vishnu, Krishna, Narsimha, all of them are plural. Yogeshwaras, they are all Yogeshwaras actually. All of them are masters of yogis. Like Krishna has got how many expansions? Gopinath, Jagannath. But are they different people? He is the Paramatma who is millions of, when we refer to Paramatma, do we refer to, can we refer to him in single or can we refer to him as plural? Both. Singular and plural both do not apply to Krishna, because Krishna is at the same time simultaneously singular and he is plural also at the same time. So the word Adhya is singular, whereas Yogeshwarai is plural. All the Yogeshwaras like Krishna, Balram, Jagannath, Gopinath, they also cannot understand Yoga Maya. And these Yogeshwaras, the ancient person, now suddenly singular, who is the creation of the material world, everything, he is the very creation, destruction, maintenance. That very Yogeshwara himself cannot understand Yoga Maya. Or a secondary meaning we can do is Yogeshwarair can refer to, when we refer to a person in very respectful way, just as in Hindi we say aap hain or Swami ji, like that we refer to somebody like that. So we refer to in plural in Hindi. Hum bolte hain. Instead of I, we say hum. We. Prabhupada used to say, when we went to America, we were doing this. Why would he say like that? There is a way of saying. I can be referred to as we also sometimes. So when you refer to a respectful person, Yogeshwarair can also be used in that way. It may not be perfectly conforming to the Panini structure, but Sanskrit is more ancient, and we do not know exactly in what Shastra such kind of a respectful thing has been used. Some obscure Shastra will be there where the plural can be used for a singular person also as a respect. So as a respectful way, Yogeshwara ke badle Yogeshwarair you can use. Even the Supreme Lord Yogeshwara, who is as a respectfully I am referring to him as Yogeshwarair, he also cannot understand Yoga Maya. How can we understand? What is the point of our deliberating on the subject matter? The one who is creating the universe himself cannot understand. So now I hope the matter is clear. Now let us understand, this creates a major problem. Now the entire narrative that is given by the acharyas for neophyte devotees, that Krishna is the Lord of the Yoga Maya, Krishna controls Yoga Maya, Maya is subservient to Krishna. All of these things, there is a crack in this narrative because of this verse. Now the entire narrative has to be rewritten, which becomes a problem. Then you start asking questions like, how come Krishna cannot know what Yoga Maya is doing? How is it possible? Krishna is the Lord of Yoga Maya. Are you talking Mayavad? Is Maya greater than Krishna? So what happens is that now what we understand is that this entire structure has to be understood in this way. So how do you understand this? How does Krishna not know what Yogamaya is planning? How is that possible? That is very simple actually. If you now, the answers are already there, but these answers are hidden in plain sight. They are hidden right in plain sight. So what is happening? Now let's take a Leela of Krishna. Like, in the Leela of Krishna, let us take Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is hiding behind Krishna and she's about to pounce on Krishna to catch him. Does Krishna, this whole Leela is arranged by Leela Shakti of the Lord. Who is Leela Shakti of the Lord? Yogamaya. She is the Leela Shakti of the Lord. She is arranging the Leelas in the various. So even Vrinda Devi reports to Yogamaya in the various Leelas of Krishna. So what is Yogamaya arranging? She is arranging for Mother Yashoda to pounce on Krishna. Okay. So if she is arranging Mother Yashoda to pounce on Krishna, does Krishna know that Mother Yashoda is there behind him? If he knows that Mother Yashoda is already there and everything is already going to happen, everything, all the future, everything, if he knows everything, all the planning of the actions and every sequence, if he knows, then where is the fun? Where is the fun? There is no fun at all. There is no fun at all. Because Leela means he should not know. Like Lord Ram, he is running after Mairichi in the form of a deer. If he already knows that the deer is like sent by Ravana, if he already knows that the Sita is already, going to be kidnapped, then is there going to be any fun in Lord Ram's Leela? So Yogamaya is not going to reveal her plans, her workings to Krishna. Because if she reveals the workings to Krishna, then Krishna cannot enjoy anything. Krishna wants to enjoy everything. So for him, even the material world is a Leela for Krishna. He is enjoying beating all the living entities and everything. So even here in the material world, everything is happening as per Krishna's desire. But Krishna himself doesn't know his desire. Now how is this possible? Krishna does not. So there is this first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmad yasya yatonvayad hitaratas chartheshva bhigyasvarat. So now we know that now here is a secret kind of subject matters. Let me not keep it that, I will not reveal full secret because then this video will completely have to be into private mode. So let us not explain everything, but we will say that Leela Shakti is somehow connected to the Chit Shakti of Lord Krishna. In Brahma Samhita, Yogamaya is also referred to as Chit Shakti. The Chit Shakti is known as Yogamaya. That is way sometimes it is mentioned like that. Okay. Now what is the meaning in Sanskrit of Chit? Chit means cognizance and Abhigya means cognizant. Okay. The word cognizant means the one who possesses cognizance. Abhigya. And Swarat is one who is independent. So now if you see Janmad Yasya Yataha, that from which everything is coming, Anvayad and Itarata. Anvayad and Itarata means Krishna, everything is coming from Krishna. The cause is Krishna. Directly and indirectly. Why directly and indirectly? This we have explained before also many times. Directly because Krishna has got two desires. One is the desire in the core of his heart. That is known as this internal indirect desire. And the direct desire of Krishna is the one that is on the surface level of Krishna. Now in Mother Yashoda's case, Krishna is running away from Yashoda. He is thinking, I want to run away. Sincerely he is thinking. It is not that he is trying to do something, he is acting, no, I don't want to be. He is actually trying to run away from Yashoda. That's his direct desire. But within the core of his heart, buried deep inside his subconsciousness of Krishna, there is another desire that I want to be tied by Mother Yashoda. And that is going to give him more pleasure. That desire of Krishna to become Damodar is going to give him far more pleasure than escaping Mother Yashoda. So at that point, for that Leela, it's going to give. So Yogamaya detects Krishna's innermost desires and she finds out which is the greater desire, the outer desire or the inner desire. Whichever is the greater desire of Krishna, that desire she will fulfill. She doesn't not act independently in that way. She is independent, but she is not independent that she will act according to her own desires or her own whims and fancies. She cannot move a blade of glass without Krishna's desire. Krishna desires it, but in his subconscious mind, he has a desire to be tied by Mother Yashoda, and that is going to give him far, far more pleasure and far more happiness than running away from Yashoda, which is his external desire, Anvaya. So the Anvaya desire of Krishna is I want to run from Yashoda, and the Itarata desire or the indirect desire of Krishna, the opposite of direct desire, is that I do not want to, I want to be caught by Yashoda. So Yog Maya, who works independent of Krishna, Abhigya and Cha Artheshu means for such purposes, Artheshu, Cha, and for such purposes, and for such Artheshu, for such purposes, Abhigya is Swarat. Abhigya is Chit Shakti. Why? Because Abhigya is cognizance, and Chit in the Sanskrit also means cognizance. And in Brahma Simhita, Yogamaya is known as Chit Potency. One of her names is Chit Potency. So, Abhigya is Swarat. For Cha Artheshu, for such purposes, Abhigya is Swarat. That means everything is coming from Krishna's direct and indirect desires, and for such purposes, for fulfilling such desires of Krishna, his Abhigya Shakti is Swarat. That means his Yogamaya Shakti works independent of Krishna. That means Krishna does not know the working of Yogamaya. That is exactly what is mentioned in this verse. What is mentioned? Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same. What is Janmad Yasya Yoton Vaya Dhitaratas Cha Artheshu Bhigya Swarat. And here what it is mentioned? It is mentioned Vishwasya Yasthiti Layod Bhava Heturadhyo Yogeshwarerapi Duratyaya Yoga Mayaya. These two sentences are exactly 100% replicas of each other. The first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and this verse are both exact replicas of each other. How come? Janmad Yasya Yaton Vayad. Janma Adi. Creation, maintenance and destruction. Adi means all the other things related other than Janma. Janma Adi Yasya of this material universe or spiritual world or whatever world, whichever world is there. Janma Adi Yasya Yataha Anvayad Itarata. Directly and indirectly from Krishna. From whom it is coming? From it is coming from Krishna. Yasya means Janma Adi Yasya Yaton. Yasya means from whom it is coming. And that is Satyam Param Dhimai. That is Krishna. Janmadhyasya Yaton Vayat Dhitaratas Charth and Cha Artheshu, and for such purposes Abhigya, that is Yogamaya, is Swarat, is independent of Krishna. That Krishna does not know what she is doing, how she is working. She works independent of Krishna. And here it says Vishwasyaya Sthiti Layod Bhava Heturadhyo. Vishwasyaya Sthiti of this universe. Sthiti Laya means destruction and Bhava is creation. That is same as Janmadhyasya Yadon Vayat, same thing. Heturadhyo Yogeshwarerapi Duratyaya Yoga Maya. Yogeshwara also does not know the working of Yoga Maya. And what does there? It says Swarat. She is Swarat. Abhigya Shakti is Swarat. Even that meaning is not given by any of the acharyas. The first line meaning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that is also given to me by Yoga Maya only. Because Yoga Maya is my daughter. That's why I know all these things, what is happening, how it is supposed to be understood, what is supposed to be understood, all of these things. So, what we understand is that the Supreme Lord has got direct and indirect desires. And to fulfill all those direct and indirect desires, Yogamaya arranges all the pastimes of the Lord. Everything is happening as per Krishna's desire. But Krishna himself does not know his desire. So, then you might say that, oh, so this will raise a lot of questions. So, we have explained this in all the other videos also. So, these questions might be raised that why, if Krishna is, does not know, what does it mean? Krishna is supposed to be omniscient. He is supposed to know every single thing in the universe. How come he does not know? Now, see, it's a simple thing. Like, if you go to some other religious organization, then that religious organization does not reveal all the intimate details of Krishna. They will say that, oh, the Supreme Lord is so powerful. Now, if I tell them Supreme Lord can run from his mother and he can be afraid, Satanka Netram, he can be afraid of, he can get Atanka from Mother Yashoda. He can get actually fearful of his own mother. God gets fearful of his mother. If I tell them, they will get shocked. They will say, that is not possible. It is wrong. God is the supreme absolute truth. He cannot be fearful of anybody. It's absolutely indigestible for them. Even Kunti Maharani says, it's bewildering to me. How can fear personified is afraid of Krishna and Krishna is afraid of Yashoda? How is that possible? So, when you have a lower level of understanding, like in some other religions, when you think of God as absolute person who absolutely controlling everything, the fact that he can love somebody, he can cry for Radharani in separation, he can cry, he can feel separation, he can actually cry, he can be humorous person, he wants to steal butter, God. If I tell him all these things, then they become bewildered. It becomes bewildering to them. They're understanding the control of God as somebody who is an absolute personality, who is controlling everything to the right, from an atomic level to everything, and everything is perfectly destined as per systematic events. That becomes disturbed. Their worldview becomes disturbed. But that is the rule. In Gaudiya Vaishnava, we know that Krishna is a small little baby, and he's a little 16-year-old kid who just works, who is just a mischievous little boy, actually. That's how Brahmaji also got bewildered when he understood that Krishna is a small little boy, and so that is the Satchit Ananda realization. So in Bhakti, there's a definition of Bhakti. It says that, we have already discussed this before also. Now we'll just recap in this video. So it says, Anya Bhilashita Shunya Jnana Karma Anavritam. Jnana and Karma Anavrit. Jnana Karma should not cover Bhakti. Now how does Jnana and Karma cover Bhakti? So the Jnana of the Lord, which is incomplete, that only can cover Bhakti. When the Jnana is complete, it does not cover Bhakti. So there are three forms of Jnana. One Jnana is about the Lord's body, Sat realization or Brahman realization, that the Lord is a supreme absolute truth who controls every single entity. That is Sat realization about the Lord. That is the truth. Krishna, 16-year-old Krishna, his body is the cause of everything. He controls everything from his body. Aham sarvasya prabho, aham evasam evagre. Everything is coming from Krishna's body. There is no doubt about it. The second realization, Sat Chit realization, that is known as Paramatma realization. When you realize that Krishna's mind is the cause of the orchestration of all the events of this world. So everything that is happening in this world is being orchestrated by Krishna through his Yogamaya potency. So now the Yogamaya potency comes into picture in that. So, and the third realization about it is that Krishna's Ananda Shakti or Radharani, Ladini Shakti, that is his heart, his emotions. So Krishna has got his body. When you understand Krishna's body, you understand the all great powerful aspect of the universe. Just like in some other religions, we understand all that the God is great, God is powerful, he is indescribable. There cannot be a word which can describe God. Such kind of thing. Yeah, because Brahman is indescribable actually. It is simply existence, all of existence put together, sum total of all existence. That is Krishna's body, Sat realization. Chit realization, Sat Chit realization is when you understand Krishna's Paramatma realization, that he is the cause of all the events of the universe, everything is being orchestrated under. And Satchit Ananda is, Chit realization is understanding his heart, his mind, and Ananda is understanding his heart or emotions. So when you understand the God as a supreme personality of God, Lakshmi Narayan as Vishnu, that, like how Lord our acharyas Ramanujacharya understood. So in that way, when you understand things, that becomes Satchit realization actually. Although it is they are devotional only, but no doubt it's not Paramatma realization, but it's a higher form of Paramatma realization, because Vishnu is Paramatma. But the highest form of realization is Ananda realization. And what is Ananda? Is understanding Krishna's heart. That is what Brahmaji understood in Brahma Vimohan Leela. When he understood Krishna's heart, that his heart is like a small little kid. His emotions are like small little bacha. And he just wants to play some pranks, he wants to do masti, he's not thinking like an adult. When you understand this reality about Krishna, that becomes very bewildering to anybody. Even devotees can be bewildered by this. Why? Because we were thinking everything is under control, everything is being controlled by a supreme God who knows what is good for us and is doing everything. But now suddenly it's told that everything is happening just because of the pranks of a small little child. A mischievous child is playing pranks on all the other children. We are all children and we are all like come from the spiritual world, and we have left Krishna, and now Krishna is playing mischief with us. He wants to take us back, and he's like a small child who's just playing mischief with everybody, making everybody's life miserable and stuff like that. Shrishti adikam harir naiva prayojana apekshatu kurute keval ananda yatha mattasya nartam. Shrishti adi, again the same Shrishti adikam. Adi means creation, maintains destruction. Srishti adikam harir na eva, certainly not. prayojana apeksha, with any kind of purpose. It's not that Krishna wants to liberate all the living entities, that's why he has created the Shrishti, and he can do that with na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He doesn't have to think about it. The moment he just desires it, all the living entities can be liberated. Yogamaya will automatically arrange all the events. But that is not the purpose of Krishna. Kurute keval anandat yatha matthasya nartanam. He's just doing everything out of ecstasy, anandat. Just like a small mischievous kid just wants to play pranks, he wants to do anything. Yatha matthasya, just like a dancing of a madman. That's exactly describes Krishna's nature. So this whole universe, the purpose is, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his main purpose was to relish the Leela. The incidental purpose was to deliver the living entities. So that is incidental, just coincidence. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes it as incidental, coincidence. But the real reason was to enjoy. So Krishna is the enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvalokam maheshwaram. So if you understand this aspect of Krishna, that Krishna is Bhoktaram, Yagya is one that is those who are serving him with great love like gopis, and Tapasya is those who are inflicting self-torture because they have left Krishna, they are voluntarily undergoing suffering. That is like Kaliya, like we, all of us, all the demons. We are doing Tapasya, suffering. And this tapasya is self-voluntary tapasya. We are chosen to leave Krishna, and therefore we are suffering. So Krishna is enjoying both the suffering of the living entities and the enjoyment, because he is fighting with the demons and kicking the non-devotees, and he is all enjoying that Kurukshetra war also, and he is enjoying gopis dancing with the gopis, dancing with Kaliya, fighting with Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. Krishna is enjoying everything. Yagya tapasam, bhoktaram yagya and tapasa, sarvaloka maheshwara, suhurdam sarvabhutanam. He is the friend of everyone. Gyatva mam shanti. When you understand these concepts in depth, that Krishna is a small little boy who is just come here to take us back, to take his friends back to the spiritual world. And because his friends are attached to the material world, they don't want him, and he is creating dukkhalayam ashashvatam to his friends. And for him, dukkha is nothing. He cannot understand all this dukkha and sukha because he is beyond the three modes. He cannot really experience what is the dukkha of the living entities. So the second chapter, again, Bhagavad Gita, we can very clearly see that how he explains to Arjuna, Arjuna says so many people are going to suffer and everything. So he says there is no suffering, soul cannot suffer. All the 25 shlokas Krishna is saying. Krishna doesn't say that, see, suffering is there, I understand suffering, but sometimes a father has to beat the child so that the child can... That is not the explanation Krishna gives to Arjuna. So, see, I have to do it, because if I don't do it, then these living entities will never improve, they will never come back to the spiritual world, So I have to somehow make them suffer. That is not the explanation. He says there is no suffering. What is suffering? Nonsense, idiot. You're an idiot. You're a dog. You're a dog. Donkey. He is like completely, he doesn't understand only, Arjuna. Of course, Arjuna also doesn't understand. He's a Nitya Siddha Mahabhagavad. He doesn't know what's suffering actually. But Krishna doesn't understand clearly. Nayanam chindanti shastrani nayan dahati pavaka. He says, na jayate mrite vakadachin achedyoyam adhayoyam. Krishna, the soul cannot be burnt. So all na tvam shochito marasi, na nam shochito marasi, na tvam shochito marasi, na nu shochito marasi. Krishna keeps on saying 4 or 5 times, don't lament for any other living entity, don't worry, because the soul cannot be killed. Everything is about the soul. Second chapter. If you see avinashi tu tadvadiyena sarva matras prashasya, dehi nosmin yatha, the soul simply doesn't, the body is different, soul is different. Soul cannot suffer, soul cannot. So he is only seeing the light, he cannot see the darkness of Maya, what the soul experiences after being covered by Maya. So now if I give you this world view where Krishna is unaware of the suffering of the soul, and Krishna is just like a mischievous little child, he is not even mature person. He and his sister Yogamaya, who have created the universe, are small little children who want to take you back to the spiritual world, and as a result of that they are playing mischief with you, and all the result of the mischief is the horrible suffering of the material world. If I give you this world view is going to shock the hell out of you. All the stability will be taken out from you, under your feet. You will be completely scared. God does not understand what is happening. God has not completely in control. He is not doing anything for my benefit. He is simply playing mischief and he is simply dancing. That is the final purpose of this all this universe is simply enjoyment of Krishna, and he is enjoying in the material world and spiritual world both. Beating the living entities in the material world and enjoying in this and doing his leelas when he comes as the avatars in the spiritual world. Is this the reality? Oh my God. So until you reach the point where you understand Ashlishava Padaratam Pinashtumam Adarshanan Marmahatam Kurutva Yathatata Val Vidadatu Lampato Yat Prananathastu Nase until you reach that point, ki mat prananathas eva na parah, lampato, even though you are a cheater, my lord. So at this point, even if so, the difference between faith and love. What's the difference between faith and love? Difference between faith and love is, faith means nishtha and love means prema, bhava. So the faith means, I know Krishna is doing everything for my benefit. I know Krishna is never going to leave me. I know Krishna, God is always good. He's always doing everything for the welfare of everybody, and He's the greatest thing. He's always going to help me. He's going to help me. He's going to help me. He will help me. He will save me. He will do this. The moment that thing is shattered, then the person becomes problematic. Then the person falls down. So from Nishtha platform, a person can easily fall down back to the material world. Shastra says. But from the Prema platform, a person cannot fall down. And what is the Prema platform? Prema platform is, whether he is a good person, whether he is a bad person, whether he is a nice, whatever he is, I don't care. He is unconditionally my Lord and I love him. Lampato actually is a bad word. It's like a swear word. It's like cheater. So Radharani in the Bumblebee also, she's praying. She's saying that I don't care whether Krishna is good, bad, evil, ugly. I don't care. I just love him unconditionally. Whether he wants to love me, whether he wants to kick me, whether it's my fault, whether it is his fault, I don't care. I know he's a rascal, but still I love him. I can't. That when you come to that point where you just cannot leave Krishna, no matter what he is, that is true love. And when that point comes, then then you become a devotee. And when you become a devotee, then only can you understand Krishna.